The Starfield review embargo is basically here, and on the cusp of it dropping, I wanted to do my own sort of expectations as well as predictions about where I feel these reviews are going to land. Now, if you're watching this after the fact, you can sort of compare my predictions and what I said was going to be focused on against what people have actually said. I want to walk through my hopes for the game, my expectations for the game. Obviously, this is sort of interwoven with what I expect and hope to hear from the reviews as well, hoping for a good representation of the product. Given that the whole world seems to be paying attention to Starfield, I figured we could sort of do a review embargo waiting room, and it's fun to make predictions about reviews, where they're going to land, what they're going to talk about, and then just see how accurate my predictions turn out to be. Now, I put all of the good information right here at the beginning so you don't have to go looking for it. If you like live streams like this, it's longer because I discuss it with an audience. Hit subscribe and the bell button so you don't miss these shows. So Starfield is basically here, both in early access. Reviews are here. The official launch date is almost here, and expectations are ranging from the incredibly high to the mediocre to the incredibly low. Now, while some of my feelings about this game are still a bit mixed and uncertain, there is still lots of elements that I am looking forward to. So I wanted to walk through my expectations for the reviews that we will be getting, as well as my expectations for the game. Now, if you're watching this after reviews have already hit, this is still largely going to be where I hope and expect the game to land. So you can kind of compare my notes and what I'm saying to what the reviewers have said and your own experience. So I want to start with the good. I do think, based on what we've seen up to now, there are certain things in this game that are going to land very well. I'm looking to both the reviews as well as my own experience and first impressions to hopefully confirm those things are actually good and enjoyable in the game. Now, the second thing I want to talk about are the bad things that I'm expecting to hear about. Yes, I think even the reviews are going to run into some of the rough spots that we are already hearing about from the leakers. And no, I am not going to talk about tiles in this section, I promise you, okay? I want to end by honestly saying what I am hoping for Starfield. This will be both with respect to the scores and the score average that I hope and expect to see, along with a few aspects of the game that I hope land very well. While some recent leaks and discoveries have affected my outlook about certain aspects of the game, there's still a ton that we don't know, and I'm really hoping that some of that really delivers. So let's start with the good, and what I anticipate hearing about from those who are already experiencing the game, as well as what I hope to experience when I play the game myself. I want to break this into three big categories. So under the heading of good, I've got three categories because I think from everything we've heard both on the record and off the record, this game is going to nail certain aspects. Now, the first category is broad, but I do think RPG elements is something that Bethesda knows how to do. The second category has elements that are actually on the bad list, but I do think that the weapons and the shooting will be one of the good things talked about in Starfield. And third, the category of the size of the game. So those are kind of the three categories. I'm going to walk through each one. So despite what we have learned about tiles and the lack of interconnectedness, I actually do think size is one of the categories I want to touch on. But first, in this category of things that I think will be highly praised, or at least I'm going to experience in a good way myself, is the RPG elements. Now, within RPG elements, I think the character creation, the customization of your character, building out a skill tree, this is something we're going to consistently hear in the reviews and the response from the community as being very good. I think folks are going to zero in on elements of their own play sessions and what they really focused on, and I think this is going to be a highly praised portion of the game. I think we've seen enough and we've pieced together enough to see quite a bit of the depth within the systems of the game pertaining to your character. Even the 40 minutes of the leaked cell phone footage really got sort of my attention with the opening character customization. I think fans of RPGs are going to pour tons of time just into that section of the game alone. Yes, I do agree with this. I know people have pointed this out, that the Starfield showcase in 2022 versus the Starfield Direct, we have seen a bit of a downgrade in the character face detail. I'm not really concerned about that. I plan to put a really dope helmet on my character anyway. I do this in every RPG. You spend an hour making the character look like yourself, and then you wear a helmet for the rest of the game and never really see your character. Now, everybody's different. Some people are going to want their face out as often as possible. That's totally fine. If that kind of hurts your immersion, that they lowered the quality of the faces a little bit, like, I'm not generally concerned with that. Now, on a side note on this, I am actually looking forward to making my character look as much like me as possible, and then seeing what my parents end up looking like in the game. That's something that I'm actually interested in seeing, like, how that plays out. Now, I'm actually confident that character creation, customization, and the build aspect of this game will be highly praised. When you go read the reviews, this is going to be one of the things that lands in the, like, thumbs up category. Now, another aspect of RPG elements in Starfield that I do think will be well praised is the ship customization. This is still one aspect of the game that I am highly anticipating, and I do have a hunch that this will be a late game system and not something you can pour into right away. And that's okay. Late game depth is important. So I am both predicting and anticipating that ship customization and the internals of the ship being something that scores well, not just with the reviewers, but with the players as well. I don't think we're hearing a ton about ship flying, fighting, customization from the leakers, because I think a lot of these systems probably come into play the longer you invest, the more money you have. I think it's more of a long tail investment. That might be a point of frustration for people that really want to dive into ship customization right away, so we'll have to wait and see exactly when that sort of element of the game starts to pick up speed. Now, the last aspect of RPG elements that I expect to be highly praised in Starfield is the dialogue system. I've already seen some of the clunky and some of the awkward NPC interactions. I'm going to get to that in a moment, okay? I actually think that's something that will be criticized, but the actual dialogue system and the opportunities for RPG depth and crafting your own story will land in a strong place for Starfield. Some of this is wishful thinking, but I also just think this is something that you will end up enjoying yourself. I'm probably going to enjoy it. I typically don't do dialogue systems in games, but everything I've seen up to now shows a lot of promise, especially for fans of Bethesda games or fans of RPG games. I think the dialogue system in this game is going to land very strong with that audience in particular. So that's sort of the first big category underneath the heading of good things in the game. I think RPG elements will be praised. I think those things in particular will be praised as well. Now, let's talk about weapons and shooting. There are two things I expect to hear and see about the weapons and the shooting in Starfield. Now, the first thing I expect to see, as well as experience myself, is that the weapon customization will be enjoyable. I'm hesitant to say that the weapon customization is going to be deep, because from what we've seen, it's fairly straightforward, and that's okay. I don't think it needs to be like an in-depth min-maxing crafting system, but as long as it's enjoyable and it's worthy of investment, I expect to invest a good amount of time into gun customization based on what they have shown up to now, and I anticipate reviews highlighting this as a positive. Now, when it comes to shooting and the handling of the weapons themselves, I think we're going to get a mixture of responses. I expect to hear things like, it's good for a Bethesda game, or it's the best feeling Bethesda game with respect to shooting that we've ever had, right? They're going to say it's the best Bethesda shooter, okay? Those aren't the best endorsement. I think those are fine things to say, but even the leakers are sort of admitting that the shooting in the game is very Bethesda feeling. Now, I was hoping it would get a stronger level of praise, but again, this is just a prediction. I feel like once I've played the game for a while and others have played the game for a while, the shooting is going to be one of the things that sort of lands in a weird spot. Like, longtime Bethesda fans are going to say, hey, this feels really good for a Bethesda game, but I think other fans are going to land a little bit differently. Now, I will admit that the shooting did look different comparing the Starfield showcase in 2022 to the Starfield Direct. So that means there's always opportunities for them to continue to refine the shooting with patches. You could even refine your gun shooting with gun customization, right? Like, early weapons might just be kind of bad, and that's okay. That's an RPG sort of power fantasy. Hey, this thing's barely shooting the broadside of a barn, and then you get really, really far in the game, and you've got really, really strong weapons that can do, quite a bit more. And I think that is something I hope they do, because shooting is very central to this game. The third and final category that I expect to see highlighted and praised in the reviews and in the early days for myself, I actually think this is something that people are going to praise, is the size of the game. Even after learning about how generated tiles work and you can only have so many and they disappear, listen, and they're not connected, I still think the size of this game is going to blow folks away. Hearing that landing and running straight 10 minutes to get to a boundary, if you actually think about how massive that is quite huge. Landing on any planet, having diverse plant life, creatures, and potential points of interest in a space that is basically the size of Fallout 4, that is going to feel enormous. And that happens on basically every planet that you land. Yes, I know mapping out a whole planet or true deep exploration of a planet isn't really an aspect in this, and to most folks reviewing Starfield and diving in for the very first time, I don't think the tile situation is going to matter to them at all. I expect very high praise and a good response to the game's size. That will be a consistent theme in the review scores from both players and review outlets. I even expect myself to be sort of put back on my heels with respect to the size and the scope of this game. I do not suspect the situation with the tiles will really come up until folks get to the end game. That will likely be the more hardcore players who want to do more exhaustive styles of play. I think they're going to be the ones that maybe snag on the system of the tiles not being connected and not really having a full map of the planet. But I don't think in the grand scheme of things, early stages of the game especially, and your garden variety, casual or mid-lane player, I just don't think they're going to notice it at all. So those are all the good things. I'm expecting myself to land in those categories thinking like, hey, these things are quite good. I expect to see those in the reviews as well. So how well did I do, right? Were my predictions good, off the mark? Where did the reviews land? Feel free to leave a comment. How did I do? Because now we're going to talk about the bad things that are likely to show up in these reviews. So once again, you can see how accurate I was in my predictions. I actually think there will be things in this game that are labeled as bad or criticized, even from outlets that are praising the game. I expect this. Now, the first thing on my list that will be, I think, consistently criticized is the AI. We've already seen enough evidence that the enemy AI is not what I would call good or even mediocre. It's just sort of bad. And I've continued to leave room for, well, maybe that's just the early game. Maybe the enemies are really dumb in the beginning of the game and they get smarter. I'm leaving room for that. I don't have a lot of confidence. I think the enemy AI in the game is just going to be sort of bad and criticized. Overall, right now, even if you ignore the fact that some of the footage is early in the game, the enemy's movement, their responsiveness, even their accuracy, it's really given me Redfall vibes. Like, I remember breaking down footage of Redfall and pointing out how non-responsive and stupid and how inaccurate the enemies were, and I was called a hater. And then the game came out and it confirmed everything that we saw. It's like, look, the AI is just really bad. It's really dumb. I'm getting a real similar feeling here. The AI in Starfield, especially in the combat scenarios, very, very similar to things we saw. Now, I anticipate even the glowing reviews, the positive reviews, I feel like they're going to mention this. Because at one level, I don't think this is a deal breaker for a lot of gamers, right? The recent easy mode debate around Armored Core 6 kind of comes to mind. Folks do not mind having a walk in the park. They're just trying to relax and be a space cowboy or a space pirate. Anyone looking for an in-depth AI system or a challenge, they may find the enemy AI in this game to be quite poor. Now, this goes beyond just enemies that you're fighting against. The NPCs that move around, they relocate, they stop you, they talk to you, they also don't look so great. I don't have a problem with the level of detail on the NPCs. I think they look quite good for a game that's going to have to leverage so much automation. But even the NPCs moving around talking to you, there's a clunkiness. There's an awkwardness to them. And this is not something I expect to get better the further you go into the game. Like, the further you go into the game, like, maybe the enemy AI gets more intelligent. Maybe they get more accurate. But I don't expect NPCs to move any better. Again, unless they patch some of this, we're already seeing some of that clunkiness and some of that awkwardness. It just looks very Bethesda, right? So again, I expect this to be something that folks criticize. I expect myself to take issue with the enemy AI, as well as NPC AI. The second thing I expect to hear about and experience myself in a more negative way is the shooting. On one hand, I do expect folks to say it's good for a Bethesda game or the best feeling Bethesda shooter, but that's not what I would call high praise. I expect fans of shooters like Destiny or Titanfall or even Apex Legends, they will find the shooting in this game to be unsatisfactory. And I don't necessarily think people are going to call it bad or trash, but I definitely anticipate hearing things like it's clunky, it's bulky, maybe it just kind of feels like Fallout. It's not going to be a shining star of this game's honor. Nobody's going to be saying, oh, this is an amazing shooter. Now, I walked away from the Starfield Direct and I said, that looks like a really good shooter. It does look significantly better than that first showcase, but I think it's going to be one of the negative aspects of the game that we hear about. It's not a deal breaker. I don't think people are going to say, oh, there's no reason to play Starfield. Excuse me. But for those of us who like shooters, and for those of us who are like honest about the fact that this game is a shooter at its heart, right? It centers around guns. It centers around shooting. I expect the shooting aspect to be disappointing for folks like us, right? Now, the last thing I expect to hear about in the vein of criticism is performance. We are already hearing that 2080 Ti PCs, 2080 Ti rigs are struggling a little bit. They're landing in like the 45 to 60 FPS range. So if you've got like a 2080 Ti rig, you're sort of landing in the 45 to 60 FPS range. Okay, that means a lot of PC gamers are likely to not get consistent FPS. Now, this will be a deal breaker for a lot of the people in the PC world, okay? Unless they're on a PC that's so weak they're already accustomed to 30 FPS gaming. Anybody on a mid-range PC and up are going to expect 60 FPS at a minimum. And that, I think, is going to increase the higher up you go in PC specs. So I'm a little worried about the PC realm. I think you're going to see a lot of criticism of performance there. All right, there was a review that jumped the gun. It was a Portuguese review, and they took issue with the incredible amount of loading screens. So much so that they said it actually motivates you to not go back to your ship. You'll just end up start fast traveling, because if you just fast travel, you end up skipping 2 entire loading screens by doing so. Now, this is obviously a performance criticism that we are going to hear a lot about. For a generation of console that promised up to 120 FPS and the death of loading screens, Starfield is walking a lot of that back. And owners of the Series X especially have every right to criticize this. Project Scarlet marketing made it sound like we were going to enter in a completely new era of gaming, and in many respects, Starfield feels like a huge step backwards in time. It's a pretty game. It's big. There's a lot that you can do, but 30 FPS and a litany of loading screens does not feel like next-gen gaming. So those are the 3 big areas that I expect to hear criticism about: enemy and NPC AI, the shooting, as well as overall performance. So, last and certainly not least, what am I hoping for? Where do I think this thing's going to land with respect to its score? Well, first, the Metacritic score, or like the overall average score that we end up seeing. I expect to see this game land in the high 80s on Metacritic. I'm thinking that an 87 to an 89 would be a very strong score, okay? Given the way that the review codes went out, it might hold on to like a 90 or a 92 for maybe 24 hours, maybe, okay? Maybe the opening weekend, it holds in the low 90s. But I do think once all the scores come in, I expect this game to land in the high 80s. Again, an 88 or an 89, I will be very pleased with that as a score. I continue to say, for a game this big, there's an insane amount of expectations weighing on this game. Anything above an 85 is very strong for Starfield. I know people are like insisting that if it drops below 90, that's a fail. I do not agree with that. If it drops below 80, we'll have a conversation. I don't think it's going to happen. I think this thing's landing squarely on like an 88. Given the one review that already hit and all of the leaks, I really think you're going to see a lot of 8s and 8.5s coming out. And that's good, okay? I can't stress that enough. The Xbox outlets will likely give this thing 9s and 10s. I have no doubt in my mind we're going to see a litany of outlets that lean Xbox. We're going to see 9s and 10s. One outlet gave Redfall an 8.5. Like, they obviously have to score this game higher than Redfall, okay? Even from the leaks, we know this game's better than Redfall. So they don't have a lot of headroom there. They have to basically give every Xbox game from here on out higher than an 8.5, right? So that's just going to happen. You're going to see lots of 9s and 10s. But overall, I think that's where this thing is going to land. Now, beyond the score, what I'm hoping for is that the ship customization and the ship gameplay aspects of this game are strong. It is one aspect of the game that I don't know enough about yet, primarily because the leakers aren't far enough in the game to truly invest into the ship building and the ship customization. So hopefully, some of the reviewers were able to do it. I hope I can do it in at least short order just to get a taste of it, right? For me personally, I hope that it's good. I hope it doesn't take too long to sort of ramp up as a gameplay mechanic. Like, if I have to basically complete the entire game before I can really invest in my ship, that will be a bit of a disappointment. Now, the next thing I'm hoping for is solid performance on PC. Given that I'm using a 2080 Ti, I'm already concerned about consistent frames from what we have heard, but we're going to see where it lands. Lastly, I really hope the size of this game overrides and wins. What do I mean by that? Well, what I mean is that I hope the overall size of the game wins the hearts of the majority of those who play this game. Debates about tiles or clunky AI will feel distant and unimportant if the game is big. Like, if it delivers on the size and the scope and the breadth and the depth of a good RPG, I don't think people are going to care about some of the stuff that we've already looked at. A good analogy, coincidentally, is No Man's Sky. Long gone are the days where people call No Man's Sky a trash game. It has become too big. It's undeniable. It's considered the standard for its game type. And I actually hope that Starfield achieves the same thing in its own way. I don't expect it to be No Man's Sky. What I'm saying is that all the criticisms that were sort of thrown at No Man's Sky have faded into distant memory. And I hope the same thing can be said for Starfield. If the planets, the story, the possibilities, if they're deep enough, if they're wide enough, most of the criticisms will fade with time, and hopefully even with some patches. Overall, I hope this game is a success. Not just for my sake and not just for Bethesda's sake, but for the sake of gaming as a whole. 2023 has been a great year already, and Starfield has the potential to make it even better. Let's just hope that it does. So let me give you my thoughts and my conclusion here. No matter how I look at this, Starfield is sort of like already a historic game. I don't think I've ever seen a game so hotly debated, contested, defended, or even leaked. In all my years as a gamer, I've never seen a game get this type of treatment. It's been truly remarkable to watch and be a part of, even if it can be frustrating and a little bit morale killing, right? It's already a memorable game, even if for a lot of the wrong reasons. My hope is that this sort of becomes memorable for all of the right reasons, and the weeks ahead will be the true test of that. The second thing I want to say is, I think Starfield is actually shining a light on the gaming community and the gaming press, and I'm not sure a lot of us like what we see. Gaming is supposed to be an escape, a safe haven from all of the unpleasantries in the world. But for those of us who make content or engage on Twitter or places like Reddit, it's becoming the very thing that we actually use gaming to escape. Just in the last few months, I've tried to even tone down my own approach to content and to criticism. I'm trying to be the change that I would like to see. Let's just have more calm and civil conversations about these things. Hopefully the fatigue and the tiredness that we're all feeling around the Starfield battles, well, maybe that makes us chart a different path. My conclusion is this. After it's all said and done, Starfield will ultimately be just another game. Reality will settle in, schedules will resume, and life will go on. No game, no matter how ambitious, has ever changed that reality. I have my own lingering concerns about how much Starfield will reverberate into future fights and other platform-exclusive titles. I think many of the Xbox fans are gearing up to give Spider-Man 2 the same treatment that a lot of the rabid PlayStation fans have given to Starfield. And I, for one, just want to jump off the merry-go-round and just enjoy and play good video games. And I really hope that Starfield can be one of those games. And that's the show open. Thank you guys so much for being here. Make sure you smash that like button. We appreciate you so much, and how much you have enjoyed and tuned in every day for Starfield coverage. The countdown for the review embargo it's now, okay? And if you're a member, you're going to be able to hang out in a members-only stream. We'll kind of peruse and we'll kind of monitor what's happening as we prepare for tomorrow morning. I will give you a review roundup with my own first impressions. So if you want to know what I think, right? What does that Starfield hater Reforge Gaming think, right? As I've been so inaccurately labeled. If you want to know what I think, you will be able to find out tomorrow. I'll do a review roundup in the morning, and then I'll give you my own impressions, because I will be playing the game tonight. And then I will play the game tomorrow with you. I'll play the game tomorrow night. I'll let my wife create a character. So it's a great time to become a member. Thank you, Joker Quinn, for 3 months and for doing a VIP and a 2-spot from Aesthetic Perfume. Thanks for your input. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. When will the reviews drop on YouTube? In a little under 2 hours. A little under 2 hours. A 5-spot from Otavio Cruz says, most of the bad things the Brazilian review had to say, I can point to the aging Bethesda engine. Such a shame that they didn't drop it. Joker Quinn with a gifted member to kick things off. Guys, we are maintaining... Oh, that's yesterday. We are maintaining our roughly 4,000 member count. If you're trying to hit the stretch goal, you're going to want to maybe wait and push hard next month. So as we go into September, let's just maintain good member numbers. Help us hit that goal today. Every 25, I give 5. We've been hitting close to about 100 members a day, which is crazy. So do you expect there to be several software updates by September the 6th? Well, there already is one big patch that people are getting, and so I believe those patch notes have leaked. I don't know if there'll be another one before the 6th. Yes, there was a Portuguese review that dropped. I believe they gave it an 8.5. It sounded like a lot of the issues that they highlighted were a lot of the things that I talked about, right? A lot of the things that I talked about, like these are the things I think that people are going to end up criticized. They're going to end up criticizing, I should say. The leaked review was disappointed with the dialogue system. Maybe want to temper expectations on that. Like I said in my show open, I think fans of Bethesda games, fans of RPGs, I think they're going to like the dialogue system. I do. Again, from what we've seen and from how it works, I actually think the dialogue system is going to get a lot of praise from RPG fans and from Bethesda fans. Now, you're saying that the Brazilian, review didn't like it. I don't know their history. I don't know their background, right? Can't wait. Could not believe the download size, 140 gig on PC. Would Starfield still be good, a godsend after a week? I'm not sure what you mean. I'm curious to see how Game Pass affects the longevity of the conversation around Starfield. Will it be forgotten in 3 weeks? Been playing the game. It's a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10. Yeah, I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of people. There's going to be a lot of brand loyalists that just give it a high score, right? I think there's going to be Bethesda fans that are just like, yo, this is it. This is everything I've ever wanted, right? They're not going to care about the tiles. They're not going to care about if the AI is kind of clunky. They're just not going to care about those things, right? I don't necessarily think you're going to see certain outlets, certain folks, depending on their background, I think they're just going to give this thing a high mark immediately. And that's totally fine. Like, if you have been looking forward to this for a really, really long time, and if this is sort of the moment you've been waiting for, I actually really hope that you genuinely walk away from the game and you're like, it's a 9 out of 10, it's a 10 out of 10, right? I genuinely hope that people have that experience, right? I think I'm going to end up walking away from the game and be like, yeah, it's about an 8. I think that's where I'm going to land from everything I've seen, Why are you hating on the game? I'm not hating on the game at all. I'm not sure why people like you say that. Do you have me on mute? Did you listen to anything that I said? It doesn't sound like you did. Bethesda Game Studios still uses the same engine because of the modding community. That's how it's one of the main factors. I don't even know if it's the modding community, homie. It's what they're accustomed to. Their entire studio for years is sort of built around the creation engine. That's why I was very surprised when CD Projekt Red said we're actually going to move on from the Red engine. I was extremely surprised. Are you saying Portuguese review as in Portugal or written in Portuguese? No, it's the language is Portuguese. I believe the review was a Brazilian outlet. Right? That's what they speak in Brazil, is it not? I've had many friends from there, and that's what they speak. Right? It's a Brazilian review, but it's in Portuguese. They're speaking Portuguese in the review. That's my understanding. I've just saw the clips of, like, I guess when you first go to a planet, it's like a 22-second loading screen. They were like, there's a lot of loading screens. They even talked about how you don't even want to go to your ship after a while. It's just faster to skip it. You just fast travel. Which, you know, I think people are going to take issue with. That's a little immersion breaking. You know, one of the main things they featured in, like, every single trailer is, like, coming in and out of the ship. And they made that aspect kind of unenjoyable. So they said, you know, and again, I'm just relaying to you what they said. They said the litany of loading screens, it's just better to fast travel, because if not, you got to go through a door loading screen, then you got to go through a ladder loading screen, then you got to go through the takeoff loading screen, and it's like, yeah, just fast travel. Like, you don't want to do that. Am I still muted in Discord? Oh, I swear to you, I undeafened in here. Sorry, Discord. I swear to you, I pushed it. As soon as I go live on Kick, I usually unmute in Discord. I'm sorry about that. 2 major L's, no co-op, and building a ship that you can't freaking land. Well, I don't think no co-op is an L. I think co-op would have been awesome, but I don't think it's an L. I mean, I think there's room for single-player amazing RPGs as a lot of the single-player games this year have proven. I don't think you necessarily need co-op. Obviously, Baldur's Gate 3 has it, but I don't necessarily think the lion's share of the people pouring hundreds of hours into Baldur's Gate are playing co-op. I always think co-op is a nice add, but I don't think like it's an L if a game doesn't have co-op. Like, we all thought co-op would have been a perfect and very sensible add to Hogwarts Legacy. Hogwarts Legacy not having co-op didn't make it like an L. I would have loved playing that with my wife. I really would have. You know, it would have been excellent, but I don't know. I will say this, you know, Creature has speculated that what they did with Elder Scrolls, they could end up doing with Starfield, right? There could be sort of like a Starfield online game later on down the line, where you can play with other people and, you know, explore the galaxy. I don't know about that. I don't know about that because of just all of the limitations they're having to kind of wrestle with. I think that'd be really tough. And I don't know if those limitations are the engine. I don't know if it's like the memory constraints of the Series S, but I actually don't think there's going to be like a multiplayer version of this game. Now, there will probably be a co-op patch from the modders, but I don't think there's ever going to be like a Starfield online game where you can like play online with other people or get in dogfights and stuff. Imagine wanting co-op in a Bethesda RPG, fake gamers. I'm not sure why you would say that. It was one of the #1 requested things for Skyrim. It's one of the most downloaded mods for Skyrim, and then Elder Scrolls Online was essentially born out of the idea of people wanting to play Skyrim together. This is me telling you to shut up. Like, calling people fake gamers because they want co-op in a Bethesda RPG. I always find it funny, people that act or try to posture like big Bethesda fans apparently have been sleeping under a rock for 20 years. The most often requested feature in Skyrim was co-op. It's one of the most popular downloaded mods for Skyrim. And then Elder Scrolls Online was quite literally born out of the idea of, I want to play Skyrim with my buddies. Like, you're talking out of your rear end, man. Calling people fake gamers? Does nobody remember Fallout 76? As you gloss over the long-standing success of Elder Scrolls Online, like, is my mic not working? Do you have a filter on that, like, ignores inconvenient facts to your position? You just jump to Fallout 76. Fallout 76 has actually come a long way, according to everybody who plays it, but I don't think that that's a good argument. I think that, again, I think Elder Scrolls Online has proven that people like to play games like this together, and Elder Scrolls Online has done quite well. It's been around for a really, really long time. It's hailed as one of the better live service MMOs in the market. It is. And Fallout 76 has been praised as turning things around. Yeah, it had a terrible and an abysmal launch, but again, you're kind of cherry picking and you're sidestepping the issue, right? You called people fake gamers for wanting co-op in a Bethesda RPG. I pointed to one of their most famous ones. I pointed to the popularity of the co-op mod in Skyrim, and then I pointed to Elder Scrolls Online, and you're like, LOL, Fallout 76. Like, that's your intellectual depth, I guess. A 20 spot from James Tiberius Kirk. I think an 8.5 to a 9 from IGN. First impressions for me are it looks like Outer Worlds or Mass Effect on a grander scale. Endgame looks good. Modders will carry it for 10 plus years at least. Intend to adding Star Trek ships myself. Why build in Starfield if no one can see it? When you can have a co-op partner to watch you build or build together? Well, Emissary, do you understand the popularity of sim games that aren't multiplayer? Right? I'm begging for the ability just to visit my friend's wasteland in Fallout 4 for almost 10 years. Right. I get the desire of building something in Starfield, or really any game, and wanting your buddies to see it. I will always empathize with that desire, but I gotta push back a little bit because sim games are some of the most popular games in existence, and a lot of them you don't play with anybody else. It's your own little world that you build, right? It's like model trains in video game form, kind of, right? So you have to understand that a lot of the times what you're asking for the game isn't necessarily unreasonable or wrong, but then you also have to consider, is it out of step with like what is consistently popular in the realm of like building games and sim games, right? Plenty of people play games like this and never ever have an interest in playing with another person. Or yeah, City Skylines is super popular. There's no multiplayer. Yo, Zachary Guy moves the member goal. Little slow on the member goal start today. 2 out of 25. Thank you so much, sir. We're always aiming to get a lot of people into the community here. This is a great week to be a member. I'm going to be playing Starfield with my wife on Friday night. This afternoon, we're going to be looking at all the Starfield reviews with members, because tomorrow morning I'll do my Starfield review roundup. But I won't be able to do that this afternoon. I want it to be a good show open and monologue and have it be organized. I don't want to like slap it together. So we will just kind of like on the fly look at them though this afternoon when the embargo drops. I do have an upload about the PlayStation Plus price hike that will go up after this live show. We're actually going to go to that a little bit earlier than normal. We'll go about quarter till, so that once that's over, you guys can go and just consume as many reviews as possible, or continue hanging out with me as a member and we'll look at the reviews and kind of collate them all together in our Discord and stuff. You think we'll be able to, I don't know what you're saying, you're going to preload it tonight? I'm going to play tonight. I can play Eastern Time Zone, can play tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, so my evening will be that. That's what I'll be doing this evening. To prepare for tomorrow. So I'll give you a Starfield review roundup tomorrow, and as well as my own play session tomorrow, as well as my own impressions, because I'm going to play it tonight. Why not a stream? It's just better for me to prepare for a review roundup. Like, I'm going to do a member stream about the review roundup, but I'm not going to try to like slap together a stream this afternoon. It just would be very unorganized. Savage Sharkbite with 24 months. That's 2 whole years. That's a red badge. Just back from vacay, missed these daily talks. Thank you so much. No Man's Sky already has a co-op version. Yeah, but it took them a while to add that. Don't act like that's, No Man's Sky had co-op out of the box. It took them a long time to add a genuine, working, and good functional co-op version of the game. And you want to know my honest opinion of co-op and No Man's Sky? You know what I'm saying? Like, if you could fly in my ship with me, well, let's have a conversation. But like the whole, I don't know. The game's just not really built for it, Is the embargo at midnight? No, the embargo is in like an hour and a half. Yo, good morning, Joshua. How are you? Hoping I get 90 to 100 frames. What do you got? What are you cooking with over there? 2070 MQ. 2080 Ti is apparently in the 45 to 60 range, which I'm a little discouraged by. Path of Addiction with the brand new membership. He's like, I don't need a gifted membership. I'll do one by myself, and moves the member goal up to 3. Thank you so much, Path of Addiction. A narrative story better suits team play. Ahem, Starfield. I don't agree with that either. I don't agree with that. I don't think co-op play makes sense in this game when you're going through the narrative. So what are you going to do when you go to, talk to somebody? What are you going to do? I'm like, yeah, I want to shoot this guy. And you're like, well, I've really invested in diplomacy, and I want to try to persuade him. And like, nah, I'm going to shoot him. Like, what do you see what I'm saying? The way that Bethesda RPGs work with dialogue, decision-making, your skill tree, like how all that plays out, I don't think co-op would work very well in this game for the story. Now, yes, exploring the galaxy, shooting at an outpost, and building and crafting and, building a city. Yeah, sure. That'd be fun with another person, but you can't play the story with another person. It wouldn't work. It wouldn't work. Now, it could, but you'd have to build the entire game around that. I can't persuade this guy. I'm just going to shoot him. And you'd be like, well, no, let me persuade him. That'd have to be a whole different game. That's a whole nother element of RPG experience. That's just not the game that they built. And I think that that's totally fine. Silver Subaru with 31 months in a VIP, almost 2.5 years. Time flies by when you're listening to the best talk show on YouTube. Thank you so much, Silver Subaru, man. 31 months is a long time. Depends on your settings and resolution. No one can say what your FPS will be. Yeah, you're going to have to tweak it. Right? Like, depends on your CPU. It depends on what resolution you push. What do you have the texture set to? Like, what do you have shadows and lighting set to? Like, there's a lot of things that you're going to have to, tweak. Super Googly with a 20 spot. 25 years of development for a 30 FPS game. Luckily, I'm playing on an RTX 4099. I mean, I predicted that in the show open that I think performance is going to come up in the reviews. I think it's really hard to ignore that. I know there's going to be plenty of outlets that are like so pro Xbox, they'll make no mention of it. But it's going to be really hard to ignore the fact that there are a ton of loading screens and it's a 30 FPS game. Like, the Brazilian review was like, there's so many loading screens that you get to the point where you don't even want to go to your ship anymore. You just fast travel. You skip 2 to 3 loading screens by doing that. I mean, in 2023, that's not exactly what you want to hear. We were promised up to 120 FPS and the death of loading screens. And we got 30 FPS and we got a lot of loading screens. Like, ugh. I think that it's totally fair to bring that up in a review. I don't think that's being unfair at all. Like, come on, keep that same energy for every game that comes out, right? Like, come on. Like, none of us asked for this gen. We were promised the literal opposite of lots of loading screens and 30 FPS. So, come on. Predator with 30 months in a VIP. Such a great community and the best live show on YouTube. Glad to be a part. Thank you so much, Predator. It must be noted that Fallout 76 gave us cooperative play, but it barely works, says Derek. You literally have to do every mission twice so each person can be the leader to get credit. It's BS. Right, because they don't instance you into every conversation separately. Because, again, it would just be chaos. Darius Ward coming in with a 10 spot. Thank you so much, Darius, for the $10 super chat tip. I appreciate that so much. Thank you, sir. Very generous. You think the modders will put a 60 FPS on console like Fallout 4 did? I have no idea. I don't know. The fact that we're hearing a 2080 Ti rig can run 45 to 60 makes me very curious. It's like you couldn't have toned some stuff down and gave a 60 FPS on the Series X? Like a 2080 Ti, this is what we're hearing, without DLSS is landing in the 45 to 60 FPS range. I'd be okay with that on my Series X. I could comfortably play in my living room, and I'd be good with that. Like, again, they didn't prioritize it. And as a gamer who wants 60 FPS, I'm frustrated by that. I'm frustrated by what Final Fantasy 16 did for similar reasons. It's like, man, just give me 60 FPS, bro. Like, do you know what I'm saying? It's 2023. Why are we even having this conversation? Yo, William Lewis with 3 months, enjoying the content. Lono, may not always agree with you, but respect the effort that you put into all your content. Thank you, sir. A 10 spot from Eldon Smith. This game was made for the 7900 XTX AMD for the win. Okay. I don't I don't get into hardware PC stuff, man. Good for you. I hope you have a ball. I hope FSR makes all your dreams come true. Severin Evans with a $5 super chat tip. I will start my playthrough tonight at 8. I can finally take a small break from Baldur's Gate 3. Hope you have a great time with the Lono, and guys, good luck, have fun. Thank you, Severin Evans. Definitely, I appreciate folks like Severin, who I know don't agree with a lot of my takes, right? I know I'm the topic of conversation on other channels sometimes, and I've seen you in chats other places, and I appreciate the fact that some of y'all come around and are charitable and kind and civil, right? And even do super chats. I really do appreciate that, Severin. We just talk about how bad the Imagine Dragons song was. Who cares? Who cares about that? I don't care at all about if the Imagine Dragons song was good or bad. It just doesn't matter. It's immaterial to my experience in the game. It really is. Are loading screens a bad thing now? I don't think some loading screens are bad, Amos. I think lots of loading screens are bad. And from what I saw from the review that went live too early, I would say that there were too many. I would say it was immersion breaking. I would. It's an RPG. I'm trying to kind of get into it. And if this shirt is fire. Oh, I forgot to update the shirt command. If your if your systems, if your loading screens are so bad, right? If they're so bad that people are avoiding certain things in the game, like they literally said, you just start fast traveling, right? There's so many loading screens that you just start fast traveling. Hang on. Use code Lono. 10% off. All right, I updated the shirt command. Like, do you understand where I'm coming from? If there's so many loading screens that you're like, I don't even want to go to my ship anymore. Listen, man, I would say that's a problem. They constantly show in the trailers you kind of going into and out of your ship. Like, that's kind of a thing, you know? So it's like, I defended the game. I was like, we do not need to land and take off of planets. I defended that decision very early on. I was like, that's not that important. But if there's so many loading screens that I don't even feel, I'm not even going to want to walk to my ship anymore. It's like, just fast travel. That really puts a damper on the space exploration immersion. It's like, I'm just fast traveling. Does that make sense? I'm not trying to be a hater. But that's, come on. It's 2023. Imagine any other game doing that. Imagine God of War or Ghost of Tsushima doing that. But like, yeah, there's so many loading screens, you just start fast traveling. That would be criticized. That's not very next gen, is it? Like, but it's okay for this game to do it? Like, come on. Come on. We were promised no more loading screens. The death of loading screens. That's what this generation was supposed to deliver. Devin Evans with the $5 tip. I see no reason to be spiteful to you for your opinions. As said, we don't agree, that's fine. I prefer discussion over dramatics and screaming. I appreciate that, Severin. A 5 spot from CS. They're saying that there are loading screens for climbing ladders. It's a bit of a misrepresentation. I don't think there are loading screens for every ladder, but the ladder to go into your ship, there is a loading screen. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong here. I don't think there's a loading screen for every ladder, right? God of War loading is behind shimmying in tight spaces, but that blue circle area, they actually talked about that. That's not hiding loading screens, but okay. Vengeance with 24 months and a VIP. That's right, red badge. I'm awesome. Keep up the awesome content and stop being a Sony fanboy. Thank you so much for 24 months, Vengeance. GTA got better with next gen. I mean, I definitely think what we're dealing with in certain respects is engine limitations. I know that I think again there's people already kind of writing off the Unreal 5 engine, which I don't think that engine's been really given a chance to prove itself just yet. We'll see how the Lords of the Fallen goes. CD Projekt Red switched from their Red engine to Unreal 5, and there's got to be a reason everybody keeps switching. There has to be a reason. I don't know what the reason is yet, but ladders inside your ship, you can climb them, for example. Yeah, the ladder going into your ship is a loading screen, but you can climb ladders elsewhere. Another gifted member from Jordan. Thank you so much for gifting a member. One more will tempt a 20-bomb layup from one of the big boys. Thank you so much. It's still immersive, says Broken Lobo. People are dumb. God of War Ragnarok was an incredibly beautiful and performant game. Right, exactly. Like, Broken, if there was a climbing ladder, like, dunk, 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 oh, I'm in my ship, I wouldn't complain about that. I'm like, that's pretty cool. I know what you're doing, and that's fine. But literally going to like a screen and like a little spinner in a corner. Barrier said it very good the other day. This was based on some of the feedback we were seeing. It's like when a game is constantly reminding you that it's a video game, it hurts the immersion. It does. That doesn't make the game crap. Another gifted member from William Lewis. He sets up the 20-bomb layup. We'll see if we can lay in the trap here for any of the big boys to slam it home. Thank you, William Lewis. Roic pushes it forward by 1. Now it's an Agents of Chaos layup. Thank you so much, Roic. The MMO RPG Mabinagi is actually moving to UE5 in a few years. They announced it back in June by the devs. The Mobby community is actually looking forward to it. Comes the Xbox hate. Who I'm not hating on Xbox. I've not said anything this morning that you could classify as hate. The Realm Between is actually a loading screen. God of War wasn't next gen 20 years in the making space exploration title. I don't think we need to get caught up in a God of War Starfield comparison. That wasn't why I mentioned those games. I mentioned those games because if there was a game that came out for the PlayStation 5, hailing itself as generational and ambitious, and it had a ton of loading screens, it would be criticized. I would criticize it. I would. Like, the way they handle performance mode in Final Fantasy 16, I'm being critical of that. Any other game that does that, I'm going to be critical of it. I don't care where the game lands. It doesn't matter to me. This is what I expected this generation. When I don't get it, I'm critical. I was critical of Jedi Survivor. I've been critical of Final Fantasy 16. It's called being consistent. If you're giving a game a pass because of where it lands, you're the hypocrite and the bias-laden hater, not me. Like, you're the one giving a game a pass. You're like, well, no, this one's fine because what? Another gifted member from Cristiano Souza and Casual Grinder. Thank you so much. Like, that's the irony, is so many of the people that project hate onto me, I mean, you are literally just a hypocrite. It's like you're giving a game or a platform a pass. I'm not doing that. Didn't give Jedi Survivor a pass. Didn't give Final Fantasy 16 a pass. And I'm not giving Starfield a pass. You seem to be fine to criticize games, but then you're like, no. This is in a different category. You're being an Xbox hater. And it's like, no, actually, you're a hypocrite. You're just being a hypocrite. I'm being consistent across the board. This is what I was promised this generation in gaming, and when I don't get that, I'm going to criticize it. All the advancements we wanted go out the window as long as our biases are confirmed. Right? Like, come on. Fuzzy Dragon with a $10 super chat. Though I'm excited for Starfield, I'm still not done with Baldur's Gate 3. I might wait another month and bypass the launch bugs. Yeah, I don't know how much there's going to be patches in the early stages, but yeah, if you're having a ball with Baldur's Gate 3, man, just keep going. Like, that game is dense. That game is dense. My wife and I are going to play that next week on Friday night because it launches next week on PS5. So this week is Starfield, and then next week is Baldur's Gate 3. Super Googly with a 20 spot says, if this one flops, GG for Xbox. This is not going to flop. No. I don't think that's possible, right? You criticize everything Xbox, though? I do? Are you sure about that? I had people on Twitter telling me I bashed Xbox for raising their prices. Really? Where? I didn't cover it. I didn't do an upload about it. I didn't do a show about it. If it ever came up, I said, that's business as usual. Everybody's going to raise their prices. I said, PlayStation's going to raise their prices, Netflix, Disney Plus. Where am I constantly bashing Xbox? How about when they got rid of the $1 deal for Game Pass? Do you think I bashed them for that? Do you think I bashed them for that? No. I have an upload saying this is not an opportunity to bash Xbox. This has been a great deal for a really long time. And they were really angry fans that they were getting rid of the $1 deal. And I was like, this is not a problem. I reacted to an article by The Gamer that said it was a sign of bad things. And I was like, how is this a sign of bad things? It was a $1 deal. It was a steal. But all I do is bash Xbox. Let me guess. You made that video to appear neutral. Like, the one guy literally, like, I was like, I didn't do that. I didn't bash Xbox for raising the Game Pass prices. I didn't do that. He's like, I could have swore you did. Well, you're still a pony. Nope. Okay, buddy. It's like, I didn't even bash them for the things that people are claiming I bashed them for. You have me confused with somebody else. Like, is there some other wiry, super high energy, head bobbling, high hair guy on the internet making videos bashing Xbox? Like, do I have an evil twin somewhere? Because I'm constantly told I do things that I've never done. I'm constantly told that. I'm like, I don't know where you saw that. I never said that. Can you find the video? Can you find the clip? No? Then, I don't know. Shh. That's the nicest way to say it. Stop spreading lies. Maximo renewing their membership. Welcome back, Maximo. Review copies went out 2 to 3 weeks ago. 2 weeks, not 3. Surely some confidence it won't flop. Yeah, the review copies went out 2 weeks ago, not 3. And I said the same thing, Amos. Yeah, I said the same thing. I said, listen, the fact that they're sending out copies this early and the fact that the embargo is the day before early access, I don't think this game's flopping at all. I think it's going to score quite well and do quite well. I've said that many times. I've said that many, many times. Yeah, there's going to be an announcement. Insomniac replied to somebody, Eugene, somebody said, are we going to do a showcase soon or something? And they basically replied and said, yeah. They said something like hang tight or something to that effect. Something's coming. Something's coming. PlayStation's playing the game. They are. They got their bad news out of the way. And then they're going to announce probably a Spider-Man State of Play, would be my assumption. They'll probably announce it for September. It makes sense. Spider-Man State of Play in September, game's coming out in October, and today would be a hilarious day to announce it, because, they know what they're doing. Warpath with 11 months. I haven't been here in a while. People still accusing you of bashing and being a Sony fanboy. Will it never end? Haha, keep up the great work, brother. Thank you so much, Warpath. Welcome back. Almost an entire year. Around 80s? Yeah, I'm thinking high 80s. If I see 88 on Metacritic, I'll be very pleased. I think that's a great score. You just act reasonable all the time to hide the fact that you're so unreasonable. That's not an alt for the record. That's the thing, Zuby. That's the thing. It's like, well, you just pretend to be reasonable. You're actually not reasonable. Okay, where's proof of that? Well, you just bash them all the time. Where? Well, you did for this. No, I didn't. Well, this. No, I didn't. Gonna run out of lies. No, I've not played the game today. I will be playing it this evening. I don't understand why people don't just have both consoles. Well, they might not be able to afford it. I have both consoles because it's literally what I do for a living. Evidens renewed their membership. Welcome back, Evidens. A $5 super chat tip from William Lewis. No matter what Starfield's reviews are, excuses will be made if bad. Because of Sony fanboy hate. If good, it'll be because Xbox handpicked reviewers. I mean, I already said this. It wouldn't surprise me at all if the Metacritic score touches 90 or 91. And then over the weekend, it drops. Over the coming weeks, it'll drop. The opening weekend, they might be able to hold on to a 90, between 90 and a 92. I just think you're going to see a lot of 8s. I think it's going to be really hard to hold on to the 90s. You're going to see a lot of 8s. And I don't think that's bad. I don't think that's bad. Yeah, Grub said there's something coming. Game reminder. I don't need this many game reminders. Goodness gracious. They use like this application for our soccer team, and there are just an unbelievable amount of game reminders. If you're just tuning in, I walked through my Starfield review expectations. I'd love to know what you're expecting to see. Basically, I walked through all of the good things I expect to hear about, RPG elements, the size of the game. I think we're going to hear about like weapon customization, character customization, all that depth. I do think we're going to hear some bad things. I think we're going to hear that the AI is not particularly good or strong. We're probably going to hear that the shooting doesn't feel that great. It's sort of a Bethesda game. It still feels like a Bethesda game. I also think we're going to hear some negativity and criticism about performance. Overall, my predictions and hopes are that it lands in the high 80s and that the size of the game kind of overrides all the negatives. The potential of what you can do, size and scope of where you go, things like that. I actually do think the game will score quite well and do quite well. I heard the story in Starfield bashes religion. I've not heard that. What do you expect in Starfield's endgame? It seems like the ship customization, ship building, ship investment, and like outpost building. I think that's going to be part of the endgame. This is not from 80s Tees. No, this is from Into the AM. I wore this on purpose. Very Starfield-esque, right? Yeah. You can use my code Lono at Into the AM, or you can go to intotheam.com/Lono. They have amazing shirts. They got a lot of space astronaut-themed shirts. I actually have one called Astro Samurai. I wore that a couple of weeks ago. It's literally an astronaut samurai. It's friggin' awesome, which now I kind of want that in a video game. But anyway, getting distracted. The day Lono slips up and calls soccer football is the day I will die peacefully. But I live in America, so if I said football practice or football games, everybody would be confused. I say soccer And you know what I mean. I don't have to clarify. The game will be better in the future as Microsoft makes updates. 10 out of 10. It's going to be a 4 out of 5 or an 8 or a 9 with the mainstream sites and gaming streamers. Oh, a 4 out of 5 or 8 and then 9s and 10. 9 out of 10. Yeah. I think we will see a PlayStation showcase start of October that will show more of Spider-Man 2, but also show one of the games that's coming in the spring of 24. I don't know about that. They really don't like marketing anything until certain things are out. Like, I don't think they're going to say anything about, and like, it's just Spider-Man. And then once Spider-Man comes out, then they'll talk about the next thing. Sony is very episodic in their marketing. They're very episodic. Like, until The Last of Us Part 1 remake came out, like, they wouldn't do much with God of War Ragnarok. It was infuriating. It was like, say something! It was like, just say something. What kind of spaceship will you guys build? I want to build the Starship Enterprise. Like, I want to see if I can actually, like, put it together. Like, you know what I mean? Like, have the saucer and, like, branch out to the back. I think that'll be fun. Skill Up didn't get a Starfield review code. My hopes are lowered. There's been plenty of games. He hasn't gotten codes for. Do they all end up bad? Which Enterprise? I don't know if I'm going to be able to get that accurate, Gavin. Do you know what I'm saying? If it's the general shape of one of the Enterprises, I think that'll be good enough for me. You know, if I can make it look like, you know, Kirk's Enterprise, I can do that. Why, Eugene? I'm trying to do something here. I'm trying to run a show. What are you doing? Sony raising their prices first and Sony raising their prices and not announcing anything big for that price for months, either for release or for their service. That's going to go over well. You can play a Ronin in Starfield. It's in the game. Yeah, but that's not really what I want to play, man. I want to be a space cowboy, you know? I want to be a space cowboy. Obnoxiously beautiful. Yeah, you're not allowed, like, posting pictures and animated GIFs of Gal Gadot. It should be illegal during certain times of the day, right? There should be a moratorium on Gal Gadot. She's not allowed to show up during certain times of the day. First name, last name with a $5 super chat tip. Enjoy the game, guys. If this is as good as people expect, then your first playthrough will be special. The heck was that? What's going on? You guys see that? Did my lights flicker? Let me check the weather here. What is happening? Mostly sunny, 66 degrees. What? Okay. When do reviews come out? The reviews for Starfield come out in an hour and 9 minutes. And here's what we're going to do. I've already recorded a video about the PlayStation Plus price increases, and then we're going to go to that at 11:45. Okay? And then I'm going to hang out with members, and we're going to look at all the reviews. All right? We're going to look at all the reviews, and if you want to hang out with us and do that, you can. If not, I'm kind of ending all of my content for the day so that you're free to just go consume all of the reviews. So we continually structure our day in that way. We sort of do the talk show, and then we after we do the talk show, we do an upload, and then I hang out with members. So that's the plan for today. I'm curious to see the review outlets that rated Redfall in the high 80s, 90s. They're just going to have to give it a 10. They can't give this game a similar score to Redfall. They simply won't. Guys, do me a favor. I didn't really harp on this yesterday, but it's super helpful to the video if you press the like button. There's almost 2,000 people here, right? 500 likes. That's light work, okay? We need a little bit more. Do me a favor. Minimize chat. Press that thumbs up button. If you really want to support the stream directly, the absolute best way is to gift a member, even if it's just one. We can do a single gifted member train right now and go crazy. With this many people, we could set a record on the channel, okay? We could have a record-breaking day. So bring the heat. Let's keep having a great conversation. The Starfield reviews, they will be here soon. And the plan tomorrow morning is I will give you a Starfield review roundup with my own first impressions as well, because I will be playing the game tonight. And then tomorrow, the second show will be me playing the game. That's the plan. I think I plan tonight to play it on the Series X, and then I'll play with you tomorrow on PC. That's the plan. And we watched Mr. Matty's together. He's biased, but I love his enthusiasm. I don't think I'm going to, like, literally watch other people's reviews. I think we're going to try to do, like, the Metacritic thing. We'll try to read. You know what I'm saying? Rob V gifts a member. Gavin Hillock gifts a member. Oh, there it goes. There it goes. They said, hey, come on, guys. Catch the vision of the member train. One at a time is just fine. $5 gifts a member to another person for an entire month. Top Reply renews their membership. Ultra FRS goes for 2 months, and it's a VIP. Just went back to watch your monologue, and then fast forward to the live section. What score do you want to see for Starfield, honestly? High 80s, and I'll be very happy. Jen A gifts a member. Jen A. I always feel like I'm Forrest Gump when I say your name. Jen A. Jen A. Jen A. And Ragnarok both gift a member. Thank you so much for doing that. Taking the number to 12. Angry Pete hits 23 months, and it's a VIP. Easily the best value in YouTube content. Sign up. Don't wait for the gifted. Angry Pete is telling you to sign up for your own membership right now. Hit that join button or the $ at the bottom of the chat and do a membership. You get into all my extra content for the entire month. Evidence gifts a membership. Thank you so much. Taking it to 13. I'm sorry, but that's crazy to beg like that. If you think doing a 30-second call to action about likes and members is begging, then I don't know. I feel like you're an unhappy person and you're just projecting your unhappiness onto the world. That was a pretty normal call to action on YouTube, bruh. Did my resub come through? Oh, Ganks, hang on. I think it got pushed out. Oh, there it is. 29 months in a VIP from Ganks. Live long and prosper, my friend. Thank you so much, Ganks. You haven't seen Purple? Yeah, I've been streaming for an hour and 10 minutes. I did one call to action. Like, Jiminy frickin' Christmas. You resub too. Thank you, Gavin. I called out Gavin's. I called yours out. Hang on. The air conditioner's not running today because it's like 66 degrees outside. Give me a second. I got to open the office door. When it's hot outside, I'm in like a meat locker. Like, this room is so frigid. It's wonderful. But when it's like nice and cool outside, the air conditioner doesn't kick on. Jiminy Christmas. Better to support streamers directly than big review platforms? Well, I mean, full transparency. We're not a very large channel, right? And I'm able to do what I do every day, full time. I've got a wife and 2 kiddos, and she stays at home. She homeschools them. And we're able to do that because of people being super generous and supporting what we do here. You know what I'm saying? Like, We are in a very blessed position because of the way people support the channel. Has anyone seen Gavin? Bauer Socks hits 22 months and a VIP. We really need to slap that like button if nothing else. Yeah, man, come on, man. The like button's free to hit. You well, sir? Yeah, but more than 1,500 watching, says Capono. Hey, listen, we hit above our weight class. I'm good with that, you know? I'm good with it. You guys are really, really awesome. The support for the live show has been incredible. Starfield's honestly a super hot topic, so it's fun to hang out every day and talk about it, right? I feel like this week alone, we've had really good conversations about Starfield. I do. There's obviously the sideliners that come in and try and stir the pot and get clips and let them live out misery. I don't care. We've had a good time. We've had a really, really good week. I'm still looking forward to the game, even though there's elements of it that I think are going to land not where I wanted to see them. But that's every game. That's virtually every game. There's always going to be things games do that may not land where you want them to land, right? Great channel. Keep it up, sub. Thank you. Legit question, did anyone ever find Gavin? I'm not sure what you're talking about. You're going to name your ship after Tyrone. Rest in peace. Do you think Starfield will be a flop or a must-play? That's such a false... That's like a false binary or a false dichotomy. Because I don't think it will be a flop. But I don't know if it's going to be a must-play. Like, at some levels, I do think it's a must-play simply because of the anticipation and the stature that it holds right now. Right? Oh, it's a Red Dead Redemption. I'm not super big on Red Dead Redemption. I didn't get the reference. So, I would say that it's a must-play, but we don't necessarily know if it's a must-play for, like, all the right reasons. Like, right now, it's a must-play because all eyes are on it. You're going to want to find out for yourself, did this game deliver greatness? Okay? In a week, if it's got, like, an average score of, like, 8 out of 10, I think you would say, yeah, it's a must-play in a certain sort of way. There are games that you simply must play historically, okay? You just have to. Like, I think everybody should play the first Hellblade. I think everybody should play both of the Ori games. I think everybody should play Breath of the Wild and A Link to the Past. I think everybody should have to play Half-Life 2. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there are some games that are monolithic historically. I think everybody should play Skyrim at least once, you know. And I don't know if Starfield's going to land there. I think right now it seems like it will just because I think it's going to be a historic game. I do. I think the size, the ambition, the notoriety, I think people are going to say, no, you got to play that game at least once. You know, eat around some of the rougher issues or performance issues, you know, it's you got to check it out, right? You've played none of those? Oh man, you are missing out. Like, my top 5 games are like Hellblade, Sekiro, Ghost of Tsushima, both of the Ori games, and like, I don't know. After that, it gets hard because there's so many good games. What are my opinions on Armored Core 6? It's awesome. I've not played much of it. I'm glad people are loving it. It seems like the customization and the build that goes into, you know, success is where people are tripping up. People asking for an easy mode, or they're soft. They're soft and entitled. I don't agree with the axiom or the ideology that games should be approachable or accessible to everyone. I think, I'm not being disrespectful. I think that's a stupid ideology. I don't think we apply that to any other art form. We don't apply that to any other art form. We're totally fine with all other art forms being, like, crafted in a way that are accessible and approachable for certain types of people and certain palettes and preferences. But then when it comes to video games, we're like, no, if it should be more approachable to more people, add an easy mode. No. And I'm glad From Software just kind of sits there and says, no, we're not going to. I respect that. I have mad respect for that attitude. You don't think Elden Ring is on that list? Oh, of must plays? Yeah, I think you should. I think everybody should try Elden Ring. Even if you have to maybe use some summoning and some builds that are a little, you know, softening of the rough edges of the game to make it a little bit easier. I think everybody should try that game out. I think Elden Ring is probably the single greatest open world game in the market. Right, I think Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are up there, but I think Elden Ring hits a level of excellence in open world exploratory purpose, dynamic discovery, and an organic sense of discovery. I don't think anything comes close to what Elden Ring achieved in an open world environment. People said Elden Ring was easier than the other ones. Is that an accurate assessment? Yeah. If you do it right, it's the easiest game FromSoft's ever made. Yes. Yeah. You can float through that game. Comparatively, it's not easy, but it is the easiest FromSoft game that they've made. Yes. Because you can literally sit and let a summoned person fight for you. Like, it's not even... Come on. let's bring it back to Starfield. All right, let's bring it back to Starfield. We got about 45 minutes. We got about 45 minutes before we're going to go to my premiere about the PlayStation Plus prices going up, and then all the reviews are going to drop, and then I'm going to hang out with members, okay? Got about 45 minutes before we do all of that. I want to know what you guys think about the scores. Where do you think this game lands? I'm talking Metacritic, like average score across the board. Average score across the board. Where does Starfield land? Where do you guys think it lands? Bring it back. Let's bring it back to Starfield. We're talking about 18 other different things. Starfield. Get those numbers going. I'm seeing 7.5, 86, 93 for the first 24 hours, then an 89, 85, 86. Somebody put 10. 89, 85, 90. Everybody's clustering in the 80s. It really seems like everybody's clustering around the 80s. You're either in the low 90s or the low 80s. We're right there. I think we're all in a very, very similar bracket, very similar frame of mind. Just look at chat. Look at the theme that's emerging. You know? Look at the theme that's emerging. We are very much in the 92 to 82 range. That's the average that I'm seeing. Low 90s, low 80s is where the brackets are kind of landing. The bookends are landing. Okay. Now, everybody that just submitted a potential score and where you think it's going to land, do me a favor and make sure you have pressed the like button, because chat just went absolutely crazy. So that means you can type. You can touch your screen. So do me a favor. And make sure you are... No, that's not what we're going to... Make sure you smash that like button, all right? 90 seems reasonable. I'm be honest, if it holds on to a 90, like 2 weeks from now, if Starfield has held on to a 90, I will be very impressed. I won't be angry. I won't be upset. I will be impressed. That will be an achievement. That will be an achievement. You know? It will. Got him. It was a trap. Yeah, I know y'all can touch the screen. I know y'all are alive. So now you can smash the like button. Just touch it. Come on. Let's see. Visibility. We're going to... No. This is going to be a premiere today. And we're going to premiere this thing at 11:45. People are like, something went wrong? Okay. YouTube's having a conniption. I went to schedule the premiere and it like glitched out. All right, let's try this again. You say 88. 92 for me. Trophy Achievement Hunter says 92. So you guys that are putting 90s, 91s, and 92s, do you honestly think it can hold on to a low 90 score 2 weeks from now? I'm genuinely asking. I'm not being a hater. Yeah, YouTube's having a problem on the back end. Everything's really slow. I'm genuinely asking, like, you think this game can hold on to a low 90 score even 2 weeks from now, right? Genuinely curious. I can't set up the What the frick is going on with YouTube? Rain a Storm Call was 7 months. What about review bombers? I don't care about review bombers. I have zero concern about the Metacritic user score because everyone's just going to go and review bomb. I think the best sources for a score on Starfield is going to be OpenCritic, Metacritic, the actual critics, not the users, and then the Steam user score. I had guys, this is how brain dead people are. I had a guy literally tell me, he was like, "You were telling everybody to ignore the Metacritic score," and it's like, no, I wasn't. I was saying ignore the Metacritic user score because it's going to get review bombed. Do you understand that when I say that, that's me taking up a defensive position for the game? Like, that's actually me being positive about the game. Like, you have such a deep-seated, weird hatred for me that, like, I literally told people, ignore the user scores on Metacritic, and some guy was like, you told people to ignore the Metacritic score because you know it's going to do good. It's like, I literally said the opposite of that. I could literally say, guys, it is a beautiful day outside, and it might rain tomorrow. And you know what people would say? It's not raining right now. Why did you say it's a bad and rainy day? Like, did you see the responses to my tweet about the PlayStation Plus price increasing? I'm like, read the entire tweet. I said, I wasn't going to cover this because this is kind of business as usual, but, I said, but, this is so crazy steep, I'm going to make a video on this. Like, it's like, read the entire tweet. Just read it. It'll take you 10 seconds. It's not a lot of time out of your day. I literally was like, I wasn't going to comment on this. This is pretty much business as usual, you know? Sub prices going up. I said, but, this is so crazy steep, I'm going to make a video on it. Oh, it literally hurts my brain. Like, I can feel my brain swelling. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like stupidity by osmosis. It's like they're so stupid it causes me pain. It's like, stop it. Ugh. My cat doesn't like it when you yell. I'm sorry. Read in 2023? Yo, Jack Huston comes in and bumps a line to 14. We're one away from a 10-bomb layup. Who was this member right here? SCWB. Thank you so much, SCWB, for becoming a member. Thank you so much, Revan, for 8 months of being a member. I think after a couple of weeks, it'll be in the mid-80s. My guess is 84 to 86. Thank you so much. There was a $5 tip from Jesse Lawson. Wondering your thoughts on marketing, waiting until after Labor Day weekend for early access. I don't really have any thoughts on that. Casual Grinder, thanks for 8 months of membership and jumping back in. Woohoo, I'm back. And then Bauer Sox with 22 months of membership. Welcome back. We need to slap that like button. And then Online MVP. Online MVP drops a 20 bomb. Just like that, we have blasted past the 25 goal, and we're on our way to the 50 goal. Thank you so much, Online MVP. Insane. I had to go back and thank everybody. I had my screen shifted around because I was getting my videos ready. Sorry. Foggy gifts a member and takes it to 35. Whenever I'm scheduling like that, like I can't see what's happening in the chat, so I got behind on some things. Let's save that. There we go. Okay, and then we need to set this to redirect. I just like your content, Lono, on how you cover all things fairly and equally and no kiss butt material. I hate you have to fight trolls and haters calling you a fanboy or not. Yeah, you guys want to see how big of a fanboy I am? Yeah, that's cute, mama. I'm such an Xbox hater. I'm such a Starfield hater. Look what just showed up in the mail. Thoughts on people harassing Stella Chung over her Starfield opinion? I took up for her yesterday in my show opening monologue. I said none of these cowards would say it to her face. She'd break your jaw. She's as tough as a coffin nail. Have you seen any of her videos? She is strong. I wouldn't cross her. I told her. I replied to her tweet. I said, run. I wasn't kidding around with my GIF. I wasn't. I was not kidding around with my animated GIF. I told her, run. You have no idea what's coming. No, she won't. Are you kidding me? She'd pick me up and throw me through a door. Check Premiere. Is it wrong? It's set for today at 11:45. What's wrong with it? You want me to check the text? Well, expected to be higher would be all subservice raise the prices. If anything, will Sony? Yeah, you just want me to check the text? It's fine. I got it scheduled. Mate, we hit the gym. You're not scared of some woman. Listen. You got millimeter energy happening right now. You're like this big, right? This big. We need to zoom in because of how small you are. This is how big you are right now. This is how big you are. I was talking about the unwashed, cowardly men who were attacking her and making fun of what she looks like. Is that you? I mean, a hit dog barks, right? You're putting your fragility on full display here. Like a hit dog barks. Are you an unwashed, gross, disgusting internet troll that insulted and attacked a woman because of her opinion about a video game? Like, if that's you and you took offense to what I said, then I don't know, go take a shower. But I wasn't talking about you. I was literally talking about the dudes that went after her and were being nasty. I was like, these cowards would never say this in real life. They would never say it. They wouldn't. There was one comment. You hit the gym. Yeah, well, you apparently got hit by my comment. You apparently didn't like my comment. Copious amounts of Framunda. Thank you to Postman for 14 months and a VIP. Thank you, Julio, for 20 months. Welcome back in. I appreciate it. Did I miss anything else? Dynamite Black jumps back in for a month. Thank you so much. We're 15 away from 50. It wasn't showing for me at all. You just said it? No, I just said it. What did you do? I already had it said. Okay, hang on. Don't touch anything, creature. I'm going back here to check on everything. Yeah, it's all fine. It's all exactly how I said it. Okay. YouTube was acting cray. It was acting insane. I couldn't save it. I had to try 3 times. Scripted Scrolls just became a member. Thank you so much for jumping back in. It's sneaky Microsoft to only allow Game Pass users to download it. Here, let's just put this right here. There we go. That's really pretty, isn't it? Look at that. That's nice. In all seriousness, time to work on those arms. They look like noodles. Dude, I don't have time for that. You know what I mean? She looks like Miss Piggy and had no business commenting on a game she had never played. And again, she looks like she eats 6 meals a day plus snacks. You understand? She does powerlifting, right? she again, I'm literally banning you because you're an undesirable, right? Go work out your daddy incel energy somewhere else, bro. Why is her Twitter protected? Because she got mercilessly attacked and harassed. You do understand that, plenty of people have looked at Starfield, the Starfield Direct, the Starfield leaks, and they have said, they literally have said, I'm not that impressed. That's all she did. She's like, I've not played it yet. She's like, but I'm not really impressed with what I've seen. And she literally was like, I hope I end up being wrong. Right? I hope I end up being wrong. And you, in your feelings, unresolved daddy issues, extended adolescent men children, attack her because she said something about a video game that you're looking forward to. Oh, take a nap and then take a shower and grow the frick up. Jiminy Christmas. It's a video game. It's a video game. She wrote it like a review. She did not. She did not. That's not true. That is not true. Has she done it for any other game? Okay, you don't get to claim this is a game of a generation. You don't get to claim it's one of the most anticipated games of the year and then get upset about people making predictions about it or people like setting their own expectations for it. What are we supposed to do? It's the most anticipated generation-defining game. It's almost as if Jesus Christ has become a video game and he's coming down to save us on our Xboxes. You can't talk like that and be like, I can't believe people are making predictions about this game before playing it. Shut the frick up. Shut all the way up. Everybody's been talking about this game as if it's like God's gift to gaming, and anybody that breaks from that bootlicking nonsense is like called a hater. So you're allowed to like suckle at this game's teat for months, but anybody is like, I'm not that impressed by it. It's like, how dare you? You haven't played it yet? Neither have you. Neither have you. Gifted member from Dark Taco, thank you so much. It's been exhausting. It's been exhausting having to deal with people that are acting like you already know this game's award-winning. Anybody that breaks from that narrative is like a hater, and it's like, you haven't played it either. Everybody is allowed to have an opinion about this game before it comes out. You have yours. I have mine. She had her opinion, and she was mercilessly attacked. I knew it was coming. I knew as soon as I read her tweet. When I replied with that animated GIF, and I said, run, I meant it. I was like, run, girl. You don't know what's coming. These people are nuts. It's a cult, bro. I mean, I guess I wouldn't call her bro. Maybe she likes to be called bro. I don't know. Maybe she likes to be called mom. But I tried to warn her. I was like, it's coming. You're going to get attacked for this. No Face Lore with a gifted member. Thank you so much. I mean, I think there's reason why she posts that opinion because Starfield fans are already defensive and protecting it. Stop making it like she seems like she's hurt in any way. Jay, when you exist on the internet and thousands upon thousands of people attack you, call you terrible things, make fun of what you look like, you don't think that does something to somebody's psychology, their mental health, their well-being? You don't think it has any effect on them at all? Since when are people on the internet your own personal punching bag? Why don't we do that with you? If it doesn't hurt, if it's totally harmless, link to a picture of yourself and just let the internet have its way with your appearance. Just let the internet shred you limb from limb and call you terrible, nasty things. It's not an attack. It's not an attack. Okay. You don't pass the smell test. You may go now. Prime Gaming with Prime Gaming 27 with a brand new membership bumps the line to 39. Thank you so much. Listen, I don't mind going on rants like this because if you're this like unwashed incel energy, extended adolescent, non-man, I don't really want you hanging out here. I don't want your patronage or your support. I think you're gross. I think you're reprehensible. I'm happy. I'm happy for you to leave and not come back. I really am. It'll smell better in the room. GNS with a gifted member sets up the 10-bomb layup. 40 out of 50. Thank you so much, GNS. Yeah, she went protected. Yeah, she went protected on her tweets. I was already following her, so I can still see her stuff and reply. And I tried to tell her. I was like, run. Like, my gift was not a joke. I wasn't kidding around. I wasn't being cute. I meant it. Maybe you're talking to a woman. How do you know it's a man? I've been doing this long enough to know the difference. I don't know. Oh, my gosh. Let me know if you can make it to the podcast this Sunday. Oh, God, way too much church stuff this week. Sucks. Gotta line this up sometime. I was getting invited to a what's he call his podcast? He's a really nice guy. Broken Games. It's Weapon Wheel, right? Yeah, Weapon Wheel podcast. Frick, I got too much stuff going on with church this Sunday. I can't be on. My whole day is full. Lono has book club. That's on Friday morning. Shut up. Why do people care so much about this game versus others? I mean, it's like we could have. I think we can have an honest conversation about, you know, some of the oddities going on, like, in the world a little bit. You know what I mean? 41 members. Thank you so much, DK Baker, for gifting another member. And 10 from Outsider. He slams home the layup and also is the agent of chaos. Beautifully set up by DK Baker. Thank you so much. I think there is more at play than the game. Wait, we have a book club? No, I do a thing. I do like a men's leadership thing at my church, and they call it book club to make fun of me. I've just allowed it. I'm like, fine, whatever. Anyway, I do think there is something deeper going on in the world at large, and I think you're just seeing it play out in video games. I do. It's very much, I call it an identity crisis, right? I call it an identity crisis. Brad Pitt's character, Tyler Durden, in Fight Club called it, you know, basically, we're the middle child of history. We have no wars to fight. Like, he basically talks about how, like, we don't have an identity. And this was a long time ago, right? The guy who wrote that and came up with that, you know, that speech was, I think, sort of touching on the beginning stages of what's happening right now. And I just think the identity crisis, you see it in a lot of different ways, right? It plays out in certain ways in realms that I have no interest in talking about, okay? There's like cultural battles and political battles. Ugh, bleh, I don't want to talk about that. But it's starting to make itself known and seen in the gaming world. Clearly visible in the gaming world. It's so much a clash of identity. Because when you fully integrate with something and it's a part of your identity and someone's critical of that thing, you feel like you are being criticized. Does that make sense? You feel like you're the one being sort of fleeced or called a negative thing. Instead of being like, oh, this person's being critical of Starfield, you're like, no, I feel threatened. I feel threatened. So because I feel threatened, I'm going to lash out in a way to sort of defend myself. It's fight or flight, right? Like when you feel like you're under attack, you'll you'll puff up. Like, imagine what typically happens in environments where you suddenly feel like somebody's attacking you or insulting you. You get really angry. Like, all of a sudden your skin feels like hot, and you're ticked off, and like you get kind of flustered and flushed, right? Well, I feel that you see that play out. You're seeing that play out in gaming. It's no longer about like, was the game good? Was the game bad? It's, this game is super important to me. Don't you dare talk bad about it. This game is a part of my identity. This platform, this Xbox, is a part of my identity. Look at their Twitter profiles. Look at their profile pictures. Do you understand what I'm saying? You see this in sports. They'll put it in their profile picture. They'll put it in their banner, and boy, oh boy, do they get nasty about their sports team. They're integrated. They're too integrated. When they're that integrated into something, their identity's integrated into something, they can't sort of slice the difference between. They can't slice between like the criticism of the thing and criticism of themselves, if that makes sense. So like in my experience with gaming coverage, whenever I go to talk about, Xbox titles, if I'm critical, I get called a hater. I've never been called that. When I was critical of Horizon Forbidden West Combat, when I was critical of like how I didn't feel like Burning Shores, I don't feel like they necessarily let us know exactly like how tough it was going to be. So like I didn't prep, and I was kind of disappointed. When I was critical of the PlayStation Showcase, when I was critical of Final Fantasy XVI's performance mode, I've never had anybody get angry at me and call me a hater. I don't know why that is. I don't know why one side tends to be a little bit more comfortable with criticism and being held to standards, right? King Thrash is like super hard, super critical of Xbox. Man, he's calling Starfield trash. He and I had a disagreement about the Starfield NPCs, and I never once felt like he was like being disrespectful, talking down to me, insulting me. We just had a back and forth. We disagreed, did not see eye to eye, and then we moved on with our day. I literally don't feel like I can do that with the other side. It's like it's just immediately at a level 10. Even last night, I had people telling me that, well, you bashed Xbox for this. And I was like, that's just literally not true. And I told them all, I was like, it's not true. I've never bashed Xbox for raising the Game Pass price. But again, it's just like they just immediately take it there. It's like, I can barely have a conversation with you. I think some people criticize it for clout. Hard to tell who's genuine. Oh, 100%, Amos. I have avoided posting a lot of my clips about Starfield on Twitter because, like, I just knew it would be cast in this sort of bad faith, stoking the fires. Like, I would prefer to have like long form conversations like this. You know what I'm saying? Thrash is good people. Yeah, we've DM'd. I don't have any issues with him at all. I think he's funny. I think he's funny. If you get out of your feelings, it's funny. Like, I've seen people make fun of PlayStation, and I'm like, that's pretty funny, right? I think it's funny. I think it's funny when Doc Dark makes fun of Kratos for not being able to jump. Like, I don't feel like there's any malice in it, right? I don't feel like there's any malice in it. It's just, he makes fun of the fact that Kratos can't jump. And Doc couldn't finish the game, so they both have strikes against them, right? I mean... It was the same when I called Spider-Man a mid-game. All the fanboys insulted me on Twitter. Well, I mean, I do think... Doc and his bro are hilarious. I think they're really funny. Yeah, and they both obviously have their biases, and that's totally fine. You know what you're getting. You know where they lean, and that's fine. I don't think there's any issue with that. Like, I think that's something I've tried to impress upon people is like, I don't care what your lean is, just don't be malicious. It's that simple. Like, it's such a low bar. It's like such a low bar. It's like, I don't care if you're biased, right? Just be a decent human being. And it's like, Doc Dark, I know he has a bias, and he's a super nice guy. There's no malice. There's no malice in that guy, right? It's the same way with his brother. It's like, big time PlayStation lean, big time PlayStation bias, and he's a nice guy. There's no malice there. It's like, you're a decent human being. And then there's this other weird breed. It's like, what's the matter with all of y'all? Why do you gotta be so nasty? Why you gotta be so rude, right? Don't know if there's jumping in the sequel. There's jumping kind of in the sequel. It's not a platformer. Kratos is built like a linebacker, right? You know what I'm saying? Have you ever, listen, have you ever watched those games, like the Wipeout game, where they're running along the things, and they got to balance and be really nimble, and, they can fall into the water? Who are you picking for that? Are you picking the guy that's built like a lineman, or are you going to pick the guy that's, built like a soccer player? Who are you picking to jump around? Like, it wouldn't make any sense for Kratos to be jumping around nimbly from, ledges and trees. He's literally built, like an offensive or defensive lineman. He's like, doom, 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 doom. Do you jump in Gears of War? No, because they're literally built like football players. Like, they look like refrigerators with legs. It doesn't matter. Kratos meets Super Mario. That's right. Boy. Like, why are we jumping? Why do we need to jump? I didn't even notice that you can't jump till you mentioned it. Yeah. All nimbly blimbly. Do I look like a cat drinking milk from a saucer? Am I jumping nimbly bimbly? You know what I'm saying? Kratos doesn't need to jump around. It doesn't. Goodness. Will you be... Oh, stop. I wonder if they'll walk some of this back. Yeah, the backlash on the PlayStation pricing. We're going to go to my video in 10 minutes about it. Yeah, I wonder. There's a lot of backlash. A lot of people downgrading. You know what I mean? Excuse me. Why do we jump, Master Wayne? That's right. That's right. The review embargo drops in 24 minutes. In 9 minutes, we are going to go to a premiere about the PlayStation Plus price increase, okay? I'm doing that on purpose, so you can watch my video about it, and then you can go watch a bunch of the reviews or read a bunch of the reviews. I'm going to hang out with members at noon, and we're going to look at the reviews. We're going to look at the reviews. So it's a great time to be a member. We're going to look at the Metacritics. We're going to look at the written reviews. We're going to see where this game's landed. Tomorrow morning, I will give you a review roundup with my own first impressions, and then I will play the game. So make sure you're here tomorrow as well. This man is not human. Yeah, I'm convinced some of those guys are made in a lab somewhere. Like, get out of here. Like a character creator. It's like, how do you do that? On that scenario, would you pick Doc Dark or Lono? For what? My membership literally just expired. Week? I mean, you guys have 8 minutes to go on a tear If you want to go crazy with some members here, it's a great time to go crazy with the membership because the viewership has gone down a little bit. We've lost some of the hate watchers. It's mostly loyalists, right? Sony Kent and Metanoia just renewed their memberships. Thank you so, so much. Let's talk about buttered sausage, where it comes from, what it does, why it's doing what it's doing. Get it out of my face. What the heck? That is, I don't know, man. I don't know where you are and why that's happening. Nobody's watching your PS Plus video when the reviews are coming out. Are you deluded or what? No, I actually think a lot of people are going to watch it because there's people that come to YouTube who primarily consume PlayStation content and it's going to hit their funnels. That's why we're going early so that you guys can help the video spin up so people will actually see it. Listen, I was going to get accused either way. Like if I didn't cover it, oh yeah, you didn't cover it because you're a pony. I am covering it. I'm literally posting the video early so it has a fighting chance to get seen. Nobody's going to watch it because it's Starfield. Man, shut up. Exhausting. It's like I'm playing cards with my brother's kids or something. Shush. Monet with 5 months. Thank you so much for doing what you do. Love it here. Learning so much. Thank you so much, Monet. And then Maverick bumps the line to 52, says, you know what? I'll become a member. I'll take that action. You guys don't need to wait for a gifted membership. You can click the join button. You can click the $ at the bottom of the chat, and you can become a member right now for $5. You get into every single members-only stream, including Friday night. My wife's going to play some Starfield. And we have a members-only Discord. Coastal Clash says, come on, y'all. Let's get a member train here at the end of the stream. Gifts 1, taking it to 53. There's plenty of people on YouTube that aren't going to watch Starfield reviews. They're going to watch, people repair a screen door. They're going to watch a guide video for Baldur's Gate 3. They're going to watch a PlayStation Plus video. Like, the world does not revolve around Starfield, even though yours might. Ryan T jumps in as a member and hits 54, but then it hits 55. Ragnarok with the layup. That's a 20-bomb layup. 55 out of 75. Let's see if anybody takes the bait. I'm just saying most pro Xbox journos and Xbox fanboys who review Starfield will give it a 10 out of 10 to push the Metacritic score. All the other ones will give it a mixed review. Coastal Clash does another 5 and takes us all the way to 60. Thank you so much, Coastal Clash. We got 5 minutes until we go to my premiere, and then I will be looking at all of the Starfield reviews with my members. And then tomorrow I will do a Starfield review roundup with my own first impressions, and I will be playing the game. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you've hit the bell button. That way you can be here tomorrow. My man JC just gifted a member. Thank you so much, JC, for gifting a member. That takes us to 61 members on the day. Starfield's getting a 10 out of 10, no doubt. I mean, listen, I'll say this at the very end because that clip's floating around of the kind of funny guys acting like it's got to get a 10, it's got to get a 5 out of 5. And I think on one hand, I get what they're saying. They're saying, like, this game needs to deliver. But I also think they're kind of letting you know in advance they're going to give it a perfect score. Like, they just are. I don't anticipate any of the pro Xbox outlets scoring this below a 9. No way. Absolutely not. I just don't see it. Another 5 from Bengals fan. We kind of teased Bengals fan the other day. Thanks for still being here, Bengals fan. And Jib Jab. I love seeing all of the brand new members that are not needing a membership to be gifted to them. Jib Jab becomes a member. It's $5, man. Hit that join button. You will not regret it. We have such a good time on Friday nights, especially 8 p.m. Eastern. Guys, could I get another 100 likes on the video? I guarantee you there's 100 people here who have not pressed like yet. I guarantee it. We could have 1,000 likes on a video before I shut down. That would be insane. Gabriel Mastrogioviani, thank you so much for 3 months. Thanks for this community and the gifted memberships, man. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it so much. Let me give you guys a link. We're going to redirect here in about 3 minutes. I'll give you the link. Here, let me get my Twitter ready as well. First review is in. 10 out of 10 from Pete Hines. Come on. Kind of Funny does 4s and 5s. Oh, it'll be a 5 out of 5 then. It'll be a 5 out of 5. It will be. It will be. Outsider gifts a member and takes us to 68 members on the day. Let's go this, let's go this, let's go this, and that. I need the thumbnail. We're gonna go in 2 minutes. Another gifted membership from Rob V. Thank you so much, Rob V. You're the best. Rob V takes us to 69. Nice. There it is. Michael Gabriel becomes a member and takes us to 70. 1 5 bomb away from a 75. Negative reviews make you famous? Yeah, maybe. Stone Spire bumps the line by 1. 71 out of 75. Not going to be an exact score prediction out of Lono, am I? I did multiple times today. I said I think it's going to land in the high 80s, like an 88. The Mr. Bluetone says, is your name Lucas? I think we went to college together. My name, yes, it is. It is. Become a member and come to the member stream so I can figure out who in the world you are. We're leaving in 60 seconds. We're going to go to a stream. We're going to go to a video about the PlayStation Plus price is too high, and then I'm going to hang out with members immediately after. You guys over on Kick, head over to YouTube. Okay, here we go. Maverick with the $2 tip. People always on here criticizing your opinions. That's fine. That's what happens when you share your opinions. I'm mature enough to accept that. I just don't like being mislabeled and lied about. There's a big difference. So, there's a link in chat, guys. There is a link in chat. Smash the like button on this video before we leave. That's only 30 likes needed. And then smash the like button on the PlayStation video. I will see you over there. I'll be in the chat. I'll be gifting. Oh, it's Josh. No way. What's good, homie? Listen, guys. We got to go. I'll see you over there. I'm going to gift the members when we get over there. And then we're going to go to a members-only stream. We're going to look at these Starfield reviews. Let's go.